Hello everyone, warm welcome to today's video. We will develop a real-life Python automation project where we will automate a report from a large number of data in a CSV file. I have a CSV file with me. This is a sample sales data for last 12 months. We have 5 columns here. First is the date column, second is the sales, then revenue column which says that what is the total revenue for a particular date, then average order value on that date, and what are the items was sold. So I have a 365 days data here, that is the last 12 months. We are going to develop a code which will automatically generate a custom report. That means user can generate the report the duration they want. For example, if user wants to generate a report from November 1 to November 15, they can do that. If they want to generate for 2 months report, they can do that. So it will be up to user which are the duration the report they want to generate. Let me show you the output of this automation and how it works, then we can explain the code. So let me show you how this automation code works. So it is asking user to enter the start date and end date. So user want to generate a report, say 1st November, maybe for next 15 days. Let's say 2023 November 15. So start date is November 1st to end date is November 15. Now let me hit enter. See, it says docx report generated successful, PDF report generated successfully. So report is being generated in the two format. One is a docx format, one is PDF format. Let me open it. You see how the report looks like is the sales report. This is a title and then the date user provided from November 1 to November 15 and a nice looking table where we have all the sales information as well as an automated graph also generated for particular duration. Same way, a PDF file also generated for this report. So report has been generated in two different formats, docx and PDF. Cool, right? Okay, let's develop this project from scratch together. By the way, I am going to share this project code with you in the GitHub repository and provide the link into the description box and in the comment section, and you can download it from there. Just one request, please watch this video till end so that you get the full depth of it. And if you are not member in this channel, then please hit the subscribe button and get member in this channel as I upload new videos every week. Now let's take a closer look of the code. I divided this program into the 5 custom functions. So first function I wrote is the get underscore dates, which will be used to get the date from the user, start date and end date. The next function is the get underscore sales underscore data, which will take the start date and end date as a parameter and give me the data back from the CSV file for this particular duration. Third function I have is the draw underscore sales underscore graph. This is nothing but to generate the graph based on the data, selected data I will got from the previous function. And after that, these two functions will generate the report for me. Get underscore report underscore docx, it will generate the docx report. Get underscore report underscore PDF will generate the PDF report for me. And I am going to execute all these functions from this main function. Now let's look into the first function, that is the get dates. This is a custom function I wrote. So in a while loop, the first line we are asking user to enter the start date and end date in the particular format. In the next line, I am using the Python input function. If you remember how the input function works, it will ask user to enter some input, and once user enters the input and hit enter, by default it convert to a string and store into the variable start date here. But I want the input from the user in a datetime format. That's why I am using datetime dot from ISO format. This particular function of the datetime module convert this string to datetime format. By the way, to use this you have to import this datetime module before, which I imported, and it's an inbuilt module of Python. So you can always import it and use it. After that, again I am executing .date function on this date start date date time because I do not want the time information in my date. So I am just get rid of it. So that's why I'm using the .date. Let me run it to be clear. It's asking for the input from the user. So if I enter the input 2023 11 1st November like this and hit enter, this particular date now store into the start date variable. The next line, it is asking the enter the end date. So that means my code is now in this line where it's asking for the end date. Now user entered the end date 15th November and I hit enter. This end date also is stored into the end date variable. So start date is stored in the start date variable, end date will be stored in the end date variable. Then in this particular if block, what I am checking if start date is less than equal to end date, then I am returning it as a tuple. If the start date is greater than end date, this particular if block will be false. Then it will ask user that start date should be less than end date, and the while loop continue. It will again ask user to enter the date. So I am executing this function from the main function. Here you see I execute the function, and when it returning the start date and end date as a tuple format, I am storing that in these two variables. Hope this get date function is clear. So after this get date function is successful, now I have the start date and end date. What user wants is with me in this particular variable start date and end date. So once I have the start date, end date with me from this get dates method, I am passing the start date and end date, these two information as a parameter into the get sales data function. I am executing the next function is the get sales data. Let's see how it's working. The purpose of this function is it will extract the data from the CSV file based on the start date and end date user provided. For example, if user provided start date 1st November, end date 3rd November, we will get the data for these 3 rows. That is the purpose of this particular function. Let's see how it's working. So I am starting with the selected sales data as an empty list. And then I am opening this CSV file in a read mode in the with context manager. Our CSV is nothing but the file handler. Then I am executing this docx method in the CSV module. By the way, CSV is a built-in module in the Python, but you need to import it. I am importing the CSV here. See, import CSV. From that module, there is a method called csv.docx. I am executing that. Once I'm executing that, it will give me back the CSV reader iterable object. And I am storing that object in the CSV reader variable. I hope this is clear. By the way, how to read the CSV file, I already covered in the different video in detail. I will provide the link into the description box and the comment section. You can refer that for more depth on the code. In the for loop, I'm iterating on the CSV reader object. Each iteration, I will get the data from this CSV file, right, as a dictionary. But if you remember, the data I am getting from the CSV file, these are all in the string, but I need to convert this date into a date format, sales into the integer format, revenue average or in the float format. So that I am doing, iterating in the for loop. In the each iteration, I am changing the date from string to the date format. So once I converted, I am checking if this particular date is into the duration user mentioned. If it is greater than equal to start date or less than equal to end date, that means in the same duration which user mentioned. If that is true, then I am converting this sales to integer in the int function, and revenue and average order converting into float with the float function. So once that conversion happen, I am appending that dictionary into this particular big list, selected sales data list. So once the iteration will complete, I will have the data from the CSV file in the same duration where the user mentioned as a dictionary added into this list. So if you see the output here, I printed it. User entered the start date as a 1st November, end date as a 2nd November. So only 2 days data I am printing here, and you will see this is the one item in the list, which is a dictionary. And this second item in the list is a second dictionary. And this coming into this particular list. This list is the selected sales data. So this is one of the output of this particular function. Another output is I need this CSV file columns name as a list. That I am doing in this particular line of code. I have the selected sales data with me. If I get the 0 index of this list, what I will get? I will get this first item, that's the first dictionary item. Then on top of that, I am executing this keys method. Then it will give me all the keys of this particular dictionary, that is date, sales, average order, list of items. I will get all the keys. I am passing these keys into the list function. Then I will get the list of the keys, and that it is this one. I am printing it. See, I have the all CSV file column name as a list here. And these two are the output of my get sales data function. That's why I'm returning this as a tuple. First one is the list of columns, and second one is the selected data as a list of the dictionary. I am storing it in the 2 variable selected data columns. I am storing the columns name as a list, and selected sales data variable, I am storing the list with the dictionary items in the mentioned period, start date and end date. Hope it is clear to you. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw the graph and save as a PNG file. Let me show you how it will look like. This graph will look like this. In the x-axis, I have the dates, and the y-axis I have the revenue. Let's see how we can generate this graph. First, I need to import this Matplotlib library to generate the graph. And this does not come as an inbuilt library in the Python. You need to install it if you do not have in your system. To install it, you can run pip install matplotlib, this particular command, into your terminal of your VS Code. Then it will install the Matplotlib for you. And if you already have, you do not need to run it. So once you have the Matplotlib set up in your system, you can import with this particular import statement, and you are good to start writing your sales graph program. So in this sales graph function, you see that I have a parameter selected sales data as a parameter. And as I showed you the graph, I have x-axis, I have the dates, and y-axis is the revenue. So I need two lists here. One is the dates and is the revenue out of this selected sales data. I do not need all the columns here. I only need the dates and revenue. To do that, what I'm doing is I am iterating this selected sales data list. The first iteration, what I will get, if you remember, this data looks like this, right? And each items are the dictionary. First iteration, I will get this first dictionary, right? I am iterating this list. I am getting the dictionary, and again I am iterating on the dictionary. When you're iterating on a dictionary, use the dot items, this particular function, right? What it will give you, it will return back a tuple. A tuple is the key value pair of this dictionary. But what are the keys I need? We only need the dates and revenue. So I am checking in the if block that if key is the date, then I am appending the value into this date list, which is my empty list. I am appending the dates value here. If the key is revenue, then again I am appending the revenue value in the revenue list. So once these two for loops will be executed, then dates and revenue will be come into as a list in my variables. Once I have this list with me, dates and revenue, then it's pretty simple. So I have a PLT already imported. I am executing the figure method in the on PLT with the dot notation and passing the fig size. What it will do is, it is basically create an image file for me, figure. By the way, this is in the inch format, okay? 744 will be the my width and 4.9 will be the height. I am executing the dot bar method, plt.bar. It will create the bar graph for me. And the parameter is taking the first parameter in the x-axis, that is a dates list, and y-axis the revenue list. It's getting, I'm giving that. And others, this parameter is for only cosmetics. What I'm telling that width will be the bar, width will be the 0.8 and color will be red and green. When I generated it, it's in the red and green, and these are the 0.8 width. Okay. And then I am mentioning the X label and Y label. X label and Y label, nothing but this is the X label sales data and Y label sales revenue. So that I am generating from these two lines of the code. Then I'm generating a title of the graph, sales revenue for selected dates. So that I'm generating from this particular line of code, plt.title. Now my graph is generated. Then you see that these dates are either it is slanting format. This is a 45-degree angle. That I'm doing with this particular lines of code, that fig.autoformat.x_xdate rotation 45-degree. Because if we do not do that, it will be very hard to read because the dates will come one after another. So it will not be readable. That's why I'm rotating in the 45-degree. Now your graph is good. I mean, graph object is created. I am saving this graph object with the save fig function method. The parameter, it takes the graph name, that the image name, and the image location. Image location is nothing but the output location variable. In the output variable, location variable, I have the string full location of the output folder. This sales.png is going to save into that output folder. This is my output folder, and there my sales.png file is saved. That's it. This is one of the output of this particular function. Another output is I am returning this output this location of the sales.png file as a string via this sales graph variable. Once I'm executing it, I'm returning that string of the output location of the PNG file, that is the graph file, I'm storing into the sales graph variable. That's it. Hope it is clear to you. So once you have the start date, end date with you, start data column, selected data sales, and also graph also already generated, the next thing only remaining is how we can generate the report now. So all the data we have. The report generation is pretty simple. We are going to use the docx.tpl library. This does not come as an inbuilt Python library. You need to install it. Pip install, then docx.tpl, and hit enter into the terminal. Then it will install the docx.tpl library for you. So once the docx.tpl library installed in your system, you can import this. Before looking at the function, we need to first create the docx template. By the way, I covered this, docx.xtpl library, how it works and how the template you will create. All this I have covered pretty detail in the last video, where we use this docx.xtpl library to automate birthday invitation generation, right? But concept should be clear on this previous video. If not, again, I am repeating here. But if you want, please watch this video. I'll put the video link in the comment section as well as description box. Now what I'm saying is that to create the docx report, you need to first create the docx template. So this is how you create a docx template. You have a Word document open and you save this Word document as a docx, and you see this content which is in the double curly braces. These are the different variables for us in this template. Okay? So whatever variables which will pass the value from our code, that will be into this double curly braces. You see start date end is in the double curly braces. Sales graph, this is my image, that is also in the double curly braces. And in between, this is my table. This table also will be dynamically generated. If you notice, there are two for loop I wrote here. Top one is generate the tables column, and the below for loop will generate the tables row. So how the table column is being generated? Here I am passing in the for loop. This is my sequence sales data calls. If you remember from the code, I'm getting the sales data call. So this particular variable I am getting from this get sales data. This is storing list of columns name like date, sales, revenue, average, or list of items. This is storing. I am passing that list here, and it will generate the columns here. And I am ending the for loop here. So if you see the for loop, I am saying that TC is a table column for call in. This call in is nothing but my iterator variable. It can be X, Y, Z, anything. And then my list, I am passing sales data columns. If you have 10 items in the list, then it will generate the 10 columns here. If you have the 5 items in the list, then the 5 columns here. Like that it works. Next one, this for loop is a tier. Then for cell is nothing but iterator variable in. Selected sales data is my data. I got it from this particular get sales data function. Selected sales data. I am passing that here, and it will generate the column for me. And sell.date, sell.sale, sell.revenue, this is nothing but sale is the iterator variable, and .date.sales.revenue is I'm referring to my dictionary keys, right? If you remember, this is my dictionary, right? For each iteration, it will get each dictionary and referring these keys here, and it will get the value here populated like that. Hope it's clear to you, this docx template. Once the docx template is created, you save it and you give some name there and save it into the same folder where your project is. And I gave the name sales underscore report underscore template. So once you have the docx template created, then it's pretty easy to create the docx report. Let's see how we're doing. As I mentioned that we are going to use the docx.tpl library here, and I'm importing the docx.tpl library first here. And if you see this particular function, when I am executing this get report docx function, I am passing all the data I need into the report as an argument in this function, like start date, end date, sales data calls, selected sales data, and sales graph. I am passing as an argument. Now, if you look into the function, it's pretty simple. So first I am executing the docx template function. This is, I am importing it, right? Before from docxl, import docx template, I'm importing it and I'm executing here. This docx template function takes one parameter only, and that is the location and the name of your docx template that I'm passing as a f string here. And then I am creating a dictionary. Dictionary keys will be the exactly same key what you are using into your docx template. If you see, you are using start date, end date, you are using sales doc call, selected sales data, and sales graph. These are the different variables you are using in the template. Exactly same name I need to put into the key. In that template, actually refer this key only. And values we know of this key, right? Start date, end date, and already we generated before. We're passing here as an argument. So we are referring those here as a value. Only thing which need maybe the little bit explanation, that is inline image, this one, how the sales graph is generating. So what is happening here, inline image is a function which we are importing here, and in this inline image function there takes two parameters. One parameter, it takes docxTPL object, it's take, that is the doc here, I am passing it, and also it takes the location of your image, and that is the sales graph, right? Those two I am passing. So it will generate the image here. Perfect. Once the dictionary is ready, then I am passing the dictionary in the render method. I am executing a render method on top of my docxTPL object. With the dot notation, I am passing the dictionary just created as a argument here. And this render method creating the docx for me, docx report for me. Now, once the docx report is created, we need to save it. And to save it, I need to give a name of that, right? That name I am generating from here with the f string and dynamically generated. Why I'm using a f string? Because if you see, I'm giving the name of the report is a sales report underscore start date and end date, and start date and end date is a variable, right? That's why I'm using f string to dynamically generate the name of the sales report for docx. If the start date is 2020-11-01 and end date is 2020-11-02, then your sales report name will be sales underscore report underscore 2023-11-01 underscore end date, that is 2023-11-02.docx. This will be your name, docx report, and I am saving that in the save method. That's it. And once everything is done fine, then I'm printing that docx report generated successfully, and I'm returning the docx report location and name with this string docx report name. And when I'm executing this get report docx function, it's returning the docx report name. I'm storing it in this particular variable. So after executing the function, two things happen. The docx report created, like in the location, output location here, docx report created, and also I got this location of the report as a string into this particular variable. Hope this is clear to you. So congratulations, you already created the docx report. Now only thing is remaining that how you can create the same report as a PDF file, and I'm telling you it's a piece of cake, just few lines of the code. Let me show you. But to generate the PDF report from the docx, you need to import a library in your code, and that library is docx2pdf. But this is not a standard library for Python. If you do not have this in your system, then you need to install it. How will install it? Same thing, pip install, then docx2pdf. Pip install docx2pdf, hit enter, and it will install for you. As I already have that in my system, that's why I said requirement already satisfied. But if you do not have this library, it will install for you. Once the library is installed, then you are set. Okay, now let's see a particular function. This is the function get report PDF. This I wrote. So you see three parameters take start date, end date, and the docx report name. Why I need the docx report name? You will come to know very soon. But before that, I need to create the PDF report name, right? As I created the docx report name, I am exactly same way I'm creating the PDF report name. I have the output location and then sales underscore report underscore start date, end date. This is dynamic. That's why I need the start date, end date as a parameter here. So I have a start date, end date. I'm creating from that the PDF, and my PDF name will be sales underscore report, then underscore start date underscore end date dot PDF. So that is my PDF report name. Only one method I need to execute to convert from docx to PDF. That is the dot convert method. So how I'm executing? I am docx to PDF. I already imported. On that, with the dot notation, I am executing the convert method. Convert method only takes two parameters. One is the docx name and location, where the docx you already generated, and what will be your PDF report name. That is the second parameter. That's it. It will generate the PDF for you. If everything goes fine, I am printing PDF report generated successfully. Pretty simple, right? This one, if you have the docx file already with you, is just converting the docx file and creating a new PDF file from that docx file with this convert method. That's it. So this is the total project for you. A big congratulations to you. You successfully developed your automation project. So we had two variables, input location and output location variable. Then we wrote 5 functions. The first function is a get date function, which would get the date, start date and end date from the user and give it back to us. And then we have the get sales data function, which takes the start date, end date as the input of the function, the parameter of the function, and gives us two different lists. One list is giving us the column name as a list, and the another list is giving us the data as a list of dictionary. Same duration was user provided, start date and end date. Third function is a draw sales graph. We wrote this function to generate the graph and save it as a PNG file in the output folder. Fourth and fifth, this last two functions, the first get report docx function helped us to generate the docx report, and get report underscore PDF function helped us to generate the PDF report. And we are executing all this function from our main function like this. Hope it's clear to you and you understood how you can create an automation project step by step. Now let's run this project. But before run this project, let's look into the output folder, and you see the output folder is blank. Right now, let's run it. Let's give the start date 2023 November 15th. So 15 November 2023 is my start date, and let's give a end date, let's say 2023 December 5. So from 15th November 2023 to 5th December 2023, that is my end date. Enter. See, the docx report generated successfully. I got the message, and I also got the message PDF report generated successfully. Perfect. Now let's go to the output folder. See, the three files generated. This is my docx file. Open it. You see the great looking docx report file generated. This is my start date, this is my end date, and this is my table of the data. We start from the 15th November 2023 to 5th December 2023. Perfect. And also it shows the our graph also. We start from the 15th November to 12th December. Perfect. Same thing. Let's open the PDF file also, and let's zoom in. See, the PDF file also looks great. If you have any queries, any question from today's video, please let me know into the comment section. I will try to get back to you as soon as possible. If you have new ideas, if you want me to cover something else in my upcoming videos, please let me know. I read all your comments and I will try to cover those. I am going to share today's code into the GitHub repository and give the link to you in the comment section and the description section. You can download from there and you can feel free to modify it, customize it as you wish, as your requirement. In the next video, I am going to cover how we can extract information from the PDF files. And after that, I am going to start a new series also on the DSA from Python, as well as we are going to look into a lot of other automation project and object-oriented OOPS and all concept also of Python. So those are coming up, all interesting videos coming up. So stay tuned. If you like today's video, then please hit the like button and share with others. If you are not member in this channel yet, then please hit the subscribe button and member in these channels, as I upload new videos every week and it will help you in your coding journey. See you to the next video. Till then, happy learning, happy coding. Bye.